That's right, Moto fans. It's another Always Moto production. Welcome in to the emergency department. Brought to you by leatmoto.com.au and technicmotorsport.com. For those of you new to the channel, I am your host, David Hogan, the Australian physiotherapist who knows the injuries in our sport of Supercross and Motocross. This is a quick look at the injury updates coming out of round 8 of the Supermotocross Championship from Daytona over on Saturday night. Always Moto will be following these injuries this week on the Always Moto podcast and the emergency department YouTube video later in the week. We do an in-depth injury review, the timeframes, recovery needs, and injury details, those diagnosis details, over on the Always Moto podcast, available in the links in the show notes or on your favorite podcast player. So if you want more info than this quick video, head over to the podcast. There are plenty of crashes in Daytona this past weekend. Hayden Deegan was lucky to escape injury in qualifying from this crash. Aaron Plessinger was also lucky to escape in the main event from this crash. This one was ugly. Let's get into this injury list. HRC Honda rider Hunter Lawrence is undergoing review for a shoulder injury sustained in that crash early in the main event in Daytona. Firepower Honda rider Dean Wilson has a potential collarbone or a shoulder region injury that he's getting investigated as well. Team Teta KTM Justin Hill was unfortunately landed on in the 450 main event by Mad Parts Kawasaki rider Freddie Noren. More to come on Justin this week as he gets further checkups. We have checked in with him, but we're letting him get through those medical reviews first. Gizmo Mods Rock River Yamaha Michael Hicks is going for scans on a very swollen knee. We have seen the pictures. It's very swollen. Hopefully all good news from him, but we'll check in with him later in the week. Storm Lake Honda's Kyle Bitterman broke his thumb in the heat and added some pain to the situation with another crash in the LCQ. We've checked in with him. He's hopefully going to be riding the Arena Cross this weekend. Wildcat Gas rider Lorenzo Lacurcio was down late off the over-under bridge in the 250 main. Minor abrasion types injuries reported by Lorenzo to us here at Always Moto, but we'll check in with him later in the week on his status for this weekend in Alabama. Devin Harriman's got an injury from Daytona. Unfortunately, things didn't go well for him. He's been landed on during one of the sessions at Daytona. He's managed to have a broken wrist, some broken ribs, and a T5 fracture. So a bit of a recovery ahead for Devin Harriman. Privateer Honda rider number 437, Vinny Lahovey, had some minor cuts after a collision with a tire in the LCQ, but he should be all good by the end of the week. But we'll let you know if that changes. Privateer KTM rider number 337, Slade Smith, had a thumb injury from an overjump in Daytona. More to come on this later in the week. And some reasonable rider returns from injury this week at Daytona. Adam Cincerulo, Jeremy Martin, and Jalik Swall all returned in Daytona with reasonable results. Something for all three to build on and begin that difficult part of the recovery process where they've got to regain bike and race fitness. That's the hard part in this story. Cameron McAdoo of the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team is dealing with a minor tibia fracture in his knee from his Detroit first turn crash. Will this cause any issues with his championship run? Time will tell. He will need to stay off the ground and he'll have to be very careful if he has to dab that foot. There's always more injury info to find out, but at this point in the week, that's what we have for now. Make sure you check out the podcast and the YouTube channel for more as we have it later in the week. The podcast, we get into that in-depth in review, as we said, about the injuries. So come and listen to the podcast if you haven't already. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you check out that podcast as well and do the same things over there. Until the next installment, Moto fans,